Well, we are here again with the world famous Frank, who's going to share his thoughts again on science fiction subjects. And we have questions for Frank. And we know that at the age of 12, his mind is open and reasonable, and he will be honest with us. And and yes, and he's now learning about the power of the ego. But that's from Forbidden Planet. We'll leave that for another day.
Oh, yes.
But
Yeah.
I'd like to ask my good friend Frank some questions about Star Wars, not Star
Ooh.
Trek, the other four-letter word, wars. First off, have you seen all? There are 9 movies. Just on the loan on that, have you seen any of the 9 movies? Is there a particular one that you liked over the others? And are there particular characters that you like over the others? The table
Yes.
is yours, Frank.
Okay. I have seen, I think like the first 2. I
So
don't
you've
know
s-
about like around the 5 to 8, 9 area,
Mhm.
but like the first 4.
The first 4 meaning Mark
The fa-
Hamill, Harrison Ford, the original first 3.
Or are
Yes.
oh,
Yes,
okay.
like the older ones, the one that
Okay.
they were way-
God love you, Frank.
You
Good
started off
parenting,
correctly.
Adina. Also,
Yes.
Well, everyone knows, but I should know by now, I'm a big fan of any franchise should be read or watched in the order in which it was released in real life.
Yeah, I think that makes the
Mhm,
most sense for sure.
Because that's how the people who there was a set of people that had no choice but to do that. And that to me has always been the right thing. So
But so you've seen A New Hope. That was the 4th film or the first one to come out. You've
Yeah.
seen The Empire Strikes Back, the 2nd film.
Yes.
You've seen the 3rd one, Return of the Jedi,
the Ewoks.
with the Ewoks. Okay.
mm.
Have you then seen The Phantom Menace, which was the first of the next 3, or the original, the prequels, if you want to call it? Or did you move directly into watching the J.J. Abrams one, where they introduced Rey and BB-8 and Poe and so on?
Or was it
I-
Rogue One?
Or what? Yeah.
Oh yeah, technically Rogue One would be right after right before New Hope. I
That's
apologize.
before, in order, yes.
Yeah.
Do you remember which ones of those?
The only part I can really remember of that
Sure.
is just the scene where Rey just meets BB-8. Is like,
Mhm.
oh, and yeah,
Cool.
and I
Okay.
do remember Poe.
Mm-hmm.
That's about it.
Okay. No, that's fine. Because when we talked about Star Wars on a prior episode, and we all were discussing that particular Star Wars film with Poe and the introduction of Rey and BB-8 and all that, how we all responded in such an extremely positive moment when we get to see, of all things, the Millennium Falcon.
Oh yeah.
For the first time. Now, you're young, you haven't really watched these movies. So if you watched it at home, I'm assuming you didn't see it at the theater, correct?
Yes.
So you missed kind of the fan experience of seeing something like that. Or later on in the film when they take a tarp off, and there's R2D2 and the crowd goes wild because these are iconic characters. So then I guess into a point, is there any specific characters from Star Wars that you happen to like more than others?
I do like BB-8 and R2D2.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're always cool.
Oh, doesn't that warm Mama's heart that he likes the robots?
Do you remember the BB-8 cake I made you for your birthday that year?
Yes.
Okay.
I do.
That's the important part.
Oh, do you do cakes on request? Can you ship one out?
Only for my children.
Oh, I can't pay you to do a
She's
BB-8
not.
cake?
She's not going to ship it across international lines to you. Sorry.
I'll post a picture for everyone to see.
It's doable, right?
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, we need a BB-8 cake
I-
picture for
Okay,
sure
I will,
on
yeah,
our
I will. I
Facebook
will
page.
post the picture. I mean, I'll show you guys the picture later, but I'll post it to the Facebook group when
That's
when
great.
this airs.
I
So-
also I also remember getting like this present either for my birthday or for Christmas. It was like this watch
Mhm.
and then like an actual BB-8 robot that would follow the watch.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
okay.
That's
Super
cool.
cool.
Okay.
It was cool, but you used
So-
it for like 5 minutes.
I used it for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was very like not happy about that part.
She's like, someone's
Well,
following me.
Well,
I feel like someone's following me.
my son-in-law Brian loves Star Wars.
Not this,
for
Brian.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you for correcting that.
I love you, Steve, but I don't think
But-
I'm related to
No,
you.
you're not married to my daughter, Stephanie. So he got, when the movie came out, he got a remote control BB-8. And what he would do, he would terrorize their little dachshund, chasing all over the house, and it would roll along. And it was really neat because the head would stay upright
Hmm.
as it rolled along the ground. It's really a cool little
Yeah, I'm
toy.
pretty sure
Wow.
Yeah, that's cool.
there was also like an app that came with it. Yeah, the head just
Mhm.
stayed there. Well,
Yeah.
just the base just went along.
Yeah, I think he's
Crazy.
a little too young for that to truly appreciate that toy, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. You should get it out and display it in your office somehow.
I
Or
don't
is it
think
gone?
I tried to destroy the base like
Yeah.
a year ago. Just
I was very
didn't
unhappy
want
about
it.
that. 'Cause it was not it was an expensive toy, so I was not
Right.
happy with that.
Ah.
So,
Yeah, I should try to display it.
You should-
so I have a question for Frank related to Star Wars, but I'm also going to bring our beloved Trek into this, okay? So
Yes, if you have
Frank,
to.
I want you to be totally honest, okay? Your mom loves you. We really think you're cool no matter what, okay? But Star Trek, or if you could pick, if you were on a desert island and could only watch Star Wars or Star Trek, which would you choose? Would you choose to have the whole library of Star Trek shows and movies, or the whole library of Star Wars films and movies?
No
And
pressure.
I feel pressure.
No.
But also, you can love both.
I'm
You
gonna
can-
love you no matter what.
you can love both, but you only have a choice. You, for some reason, you're stuck on a desert island with a big screen TV, a DVD player, and endless electricity on this desert island, and the entire
Solar power.
library
It's all solar powered.
of
Yeah.
Star Wars or Star Trek. Which would it
Did
be?
you just hear him? You just said Kirk left him there.
Oh, nice. That's a good
great.
callback.
Very
That's a
good.
Okay,
callback.
all right. We're back to last week.
Fine.
I'd probably choose Star Trek.
You would?
Is it again? It's
So-
again not. I don't want it to be because of me. Like
No. I'd probably choose Star Trek
Mhm.
because Star Wars. I've like
I like
Yeah.
this kid already.
it's
Yeah.
okay.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Frank.
I've shown greater interest in Star Trek than
Mhm.
Star Wars.
this is true. This is true, and he's had honestly equal access to both. If he would like come home and put on Star Star Wars is there. He
Okay.
could, you know.
Mhm.
And I
Is
have
there any
been,
is there any aspects of Star Trek over Star Wars that you like? Is it the storyline, the characters, the technology? Is there, or the characters, or the storylines? And again, trust me, I started watching Star Trek when I was 7 years old when it first came out, and I looked forward to every single episode of it. We didn't have Star Wars; we only had Lost in Space, so that was an easy trade-off.
Right.
But but for you, is there any specific aspects of Star Trek that you like over Star Wars?
I just probably like the concept better.
Mm-hmm.
Apart from evil guy try to kill.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I,
All right.
I've
Well,
never cried on this podcast until now, guys. This is beautiful.
There's
Really
there's a
beautiful.
logical reason also. I was hoping
Oh.
to go for the logical reason too for choosing Star Trek over Star Wars in a desert island situation. There's more hours of content available.
And that,
Yeah.
and that.
I was really, really hoping that that's what you were going to
Yeah.
say, because that
Ooh,
would have
that
like
would-
made me like the logical answer would also like
No, but Kirk's gonna come back and check on him.
Is he going to?
Yeah.
I don't think
Well,
so.
Yeah, he
And-
wouldn't leave you. He
I
would
don't know
not
if
leave you
Kirk's
there.
coming
That is
back.
so
He's
funny.
like,
That is so
I'm
funny.
done. I gotta go off. I'm not gonna file the report. I'm piecing out
Okay.
everybody.
And then one last thing, when your friends in school, people that you know, what do you think they prefer if you got into a discussion with them about science fiction, which we hope you do? Do they lean towards Star Wars or Star Trek themselves?
One of my friends might choose Star Trek, but the rest would probably choose Star Wars. They're not that big fans of
And you know why?
what.
Because there isn't a BB-8 and there isn't a C-3PO and there isn't these comical or very adorable characters that people like and relate to. Star Trek is really technically driven. Star Wars is more morally driven. Not morally, excuse me. That's not the right term. Good and bad. Basically, it just
Yeah,
comes
that's
down to good
probably
and bad.
true.
You know,
Yeah.
and
There
it's
is a Data.
easier to accept it.
There is
Huh?
a Data
Yeah.
who I think I think you're right, Frank. Data is really cute and adorable, but he's
There is
also
some
complex.
computers.
As you said.
Especially,
Like
especially
small
when
talk
data,
Data,
yeah, or beard data.
beard Data is cute. I love
Yeah.
all of that.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyways,
But that
Poetry
that's where you
Data is
go.
fantastic.
he did also watch some you didn't watch all of Obi-Wan, the recent Obi-Wan series. You watched some of it.
I watched like some of it.
You watched some of it.
Okay.
Some.
And you haven't watched The Mandalorian, or have you watched Boba
I
Fett?
don't.
So I didn't let him because it started out kind of a little extra violent-y.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't let him watch it.
yep.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
fair.
Because those are actually some of the best Star Wars
Mhm.
that there is, compared to even to the movies.
Needs to
Oh,
get a
I
little
agree.
older. Like there again, the Mandalorian started out like the first episode or two was I think it was a little over the top in the violence.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same
I
thing
don't
with
think
Boba
it's
Fett.
another scene. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Andor's a whole nother monster, so we'll have to talk
I-
about that
I
sometime.
finished the first episode, but I'm trying. I want to finish the series, but I'm having a hard time with it.
I
With
watched
Andor?
this- yeah.
well, it's not.
Bear with
grabbing
it. Bear with it.
Okay.
I watched the second episode and I'm going, when's it going to wake up? It's very slow. It's very slow. Whereas The Mandalorian and Boba Fett, boom, right off the bat, got you going, bang right into it.
True.
And
It's true.
Even though Mando for me for season 1, I was like, I found it rough, and then I heard about the big reveal. And I was like, okay, now I actually got to watch it.
yeah,
And then by the midpoint in season 1, I was like, I was into it.
okay.
Cool.
All right. Well, if we have any other questions about Star Wars, we'll leave it at that. We'll know that you've made a grown man cry, Frank. You made Brian break into tears, and tears of happiness, as they like to say, tears of joy.
But
Okay.
you
But
never asked me to make a Star Trek cake. I made a BB-8 cake for you. I've never made a Star Trek cake.
You haven't.
So make the
Make it like
the Tibalian fudge
Look-
cake that Neelix makes for Kess,
Or the combat.
just so I can live.
Or a
live through
cellular
it.
peptide cake
Yes.
with mint frosting.
Ooh,
oh,
Yes.
and one other question:
Yeah,
Does
hasn't
he
seen that
like
episode yet.
Does he like pineapple? Like
oh, that looked like a good cake, like the Reed cake.
yeah, the reed cake. That's right. What cake do you want? Surprise him. It might be pineapple. Who knows?
Oh,
And I have
Tibalian
to-
fudge cake.
And I have to make it from scratch because I make cakes from scratch because of his food allergies. I make all the cakes from scratch.
All right.
All
That's
right.
how I got into making cakes for the kids is because I had to make them from scratch.
I'd like to have the final word of this episode.
Please do, Brian.
Frank, I'm so proud of you, man. So proud of you.